The world was painted in cold blues and grays when I arrived on the Alaskan coast. The date was April 3, 2026. A salty wind battered the jagged rocks and the waves crashed with relentless force. This was no tourist beach. This was the continent's wild, unforgiving edge. I stood alone, breathing in the sharp air, feeling both excitement and a twinge of fear. Legends thrived here. Stories of a monstrous lingcod, the old man of the reef, said to weigh over 600 pounds. Most called it folklore, but I knew legends often hid a kernel of truth. The ocean is vast, full of secrets and creatures that defy belief. My mission: to find out if this giant was real. The underwater world here, rocky pinnacles, deep crevices, kelp forests, was perfect territory for a predator of mythic proportions. Somewhere below, something was watching. Every wave, every distant seabird's cry, heightened the tension. This wasn't just fishing, it was a hunt. The solitude was both a blessing and a risk. No distractions, but no help if things went wrong. This wilderness demanded respect. It could thrill or destroy in a heartbeat. I took one last look at the horizon and began my preparations. The hunt for the legend had begun. Chasing a 600-pound fish requires gear built for battle. My rod was a custom 8-foot powerhouse, paired with a gold anodized reel, and 800 yards of 200-pound test line. Every link in the setup had to be flawless, one weak point, and it was over. The bait? A whole 2-foot rockfish, rigged on a 3-pound jig and a massive razor-sharp hook. Preparing the bait was a ritual, focusing my mind for what lay ahead. Safety was non-negotiable: waterproof gear, heavy-duty pliers, a gaff, a razor-sharp knife, and an inflatable life vest. The rocks were slick, the water deadly cold. A single slip could be fatal. With everything checked, determination settled in. This was it. All the research, all the travel, for one cast into the unknown. Would the legend answer? Only the ocean knew. I took my position, steadied my nerves, and prepared to cast. The cast was a controlled drop, bait plunging into the green depths, line peeling off the reel. 400 feet down, the weight thudded onto the rocky bottom. Now, the waiting began. A mental battle of patience and focus. I worked the bait with slow, deliberate lifts and drops, imitating a wounded fish. Time dragged on. The sun burned off the mist, seabirds circled, and doubt crept in. Was I in the right spot? Was the legend just a story? But big fish are patient. They wait for the perfect moment. I tuned into every vibration, rock, kelp, current, searching for that one signal. Hours passed. My arms ached, but I stayed focused. Then, suddenly, everything changed. The line twitched, a subtle electric jolt. My heart pounded. The hunter below had finally revealed itself. The real battle was about to begin. The strike was violent. No warning, just an explosion of force. The rod nearly ripped from my hands as the lingcod inhaled the bait in a single, brutal lunge. I set the hook, feeling raw power surge up the line. This was no ordinary fish. This was the old man of the reef. For a moment we were locked in a stalemate, line humming with tension. Then the fish erupted in rage, diving for the bottom with bone-jarring lunges. The reel screamed as line tore away. I braced myself, knuckles white. As the beast dictated the terms, the rod bent deep, straining under the load. If the fish reached the rocks below, it would be over in an instant. This was the first, most critical stage. Survive the initial onslaught. Every second was a test of strength and resolve. The monster was real, and it was fighting for its life. So was I. The lingcod fought with explosive bursts, not long runs, each surge a test of my strength and focus. It ripped 100 yards of line in seconds, every headshake transmitted up the rod. I couldn't let it reach the reef. I had to turn its head, keep it away from the rocks. It was a brutal tug of war. Every inch gained, the fish took back a foot. My muscles screamed, sweat stung my eyes, and the danger was real. The line could snap, or worse, I could be pulled into the freezing water. Lingcod are wolves of the reef. Aggressive, cunning, relentless. I felt the line grating against rocks, heart pounding. One mistake, and it would all be over. The fight was as much mental as physical. I had to stay sharp, keep my footing, and manage the pressure. The battle had just begun, and already I was on the edge. The monster was testing every limit I had. The fight settled into a punishing rhythm, a test of endurance and will. The fish dove, I held on. When it paused, I cranked back precious feet of line. My body ached, fatigue set in, but I couldn't let up. The lingcod fought smart, circling, diving, shaking its head, trying every trick to break free. It was a chess match of brute force and strategy, hundreds of feet below. Minutes dragged into half an hour. The fish's runs grew shorter, its head shakes less violent. It was tiring, and so was I. This was my chance. I pressed harder, cranking the reel with everything I had left. For the first time, I started to gain real ground. The monster was coming up inch by hard-won inch. The endgame was near. I focused on every move, knowing one slip could cost everything. The battle was nearly won. I was about to meet the legend face to face. Gaining line felt like hauling a boulder from the abyss. The fish was a massive dark shadow rising through the green water. As it neared the surface, its true size became clear, wider than a man's shoulders, impossibly long. It was a prehistoric leviathan, a living legend. Adrenaline surged as its head broke the surface. Enormous, jaws gaping, eyes cold and ancient. Its mottled skin and spined dorsal fin marked it as the apex predator of these waters. The fish thrashed violently, water exploding around it. The final struggle was fierce. One wrong move and it could snap the line. I had to guide it to the rocks, careful and steady. The last moments were the most dangerous. The monster was almost within reach. I braced for the final test. The legend was real, and it was right in front of me. Landing a fish this size wasn't just about strength, it was about respect. Exhausted, I guided the giant into a sheltered inlet, both of us spent from the fight. In the shallow water, its true scale was staggering, longer than I was tall, a wall of muscle and bone. This was a creature that had ruled these waters for decades. I faced a choice, claim a record, or let the king of the reef live. Looking into its ancient eyes, the answer was clear. With careful hands, I freed the hook from its massive jaw. For a moment, the fish rested, then, with a powerful sweep of its tail, vanished into the depths. The battle was over. The legend returned to its world. I stood in awe, rod light in my hands, waves crashing around me. The monster was gone, but the story would remain. Sometimes, the greatest victory is letting go. Standing on the rocks, muscles aching, I felt a mix of exhaustion and exhilaration. I had found the legend, battled it, and let it go. The true reward was the encounter, a glimpse into a hidden world. The ocean's mysteries remain vast, its monsters real. Facing such a creature is humbling. It reminds us we are only visitors here. The thrill, the risk, the respect, it's what draws us back to the water's edge. As I packed up, the sun shone on a peaceful sea, but I knew what lurked beneath. The old man of the reef was still out there, a living shadow in the deep. I left with a story, a sore body, and a renewed respect for the wild. The ocean had shared one of its secrets with me, and that's exactly where the legend belongs.